be here. So I'm gonna read a bit from my latest novel, which is called One of Us is Sleeping, and it's a silent book about being left behind, and it is like separated into different small chapters, so I'll just read the first chapter and then some other chapters from around the book. And the translation has been made of Martin Aiken, Danish-American translator. And this is how the book looks originally. The light comes creeping in over the plowed fields. Slabs of dark clay soil thrust up among each other, bull calves fighting in the stalls. The thought of too much body in a space too small, and the snow so gently it lies now upon the ridges, upon the landscape, everything living and everything dead. A coat of cold, a deep reassuring voice. The landscape naked, unsentimental. Here's a feeling of missing you, though no one to miss. A landscape of lace that is frost. The landscape is the same, and yet the landscape is never the same. Where have I been, I ask myself. My lower lip has burst like the skin of a ripe plum, falling on the patio knees and the taste of iron, lying on the concrete behind the rectory, waiting for the tractor to return home with the first load. If we're not up and gone, we'll be in trouble. The way they come driving, hunchbacked trailers, one afternoon with friends enough to play. We'll leap among the stocked balls, fall down between them, and you'll die of starvation, like the cat we find. But that's not until autumn, so it hadn't abandoned its litter at all. The path leading off behind the rectory fields peters out at the boundary that cuts through the conservation area, the clublands, acring line follow. So much depends on it. Order. There's always a man gathering up stones in the field. New ones always appearing. The earth gives birth to them, and the piles grow large. Here and there, bigger rocks lie waiting to be collected by the tractor when the time comes. Perhaps one of the boys will do it, or perhaps the job is too big for them. The sun goes down behind the dolmen, which is older than the pyramids. So they say. How old is that, one wonders. Brothers have no age beyond the years that divide them. My sisters and I, one age. We become no older than we were. The glacial landscape, the kettle holes where the ice forced the land into different positions. I'm not sure. I felt like I was living out of sync in every way imaginable. I've just fallen and already I'm on my feet, brushing the dirt from my sleeves, smiling to someone passing by or to nature. It's only when I think back on something that I gain access to all that ought to be mine. You, for example. I have returned. Something that was lies spread out across the landscape. A carpet of needles at the foot of the trees. a cape of snow, a forest of fingers and a sky. Antlers of the red deer, Trehøje Hill, the last 10 fir trees on its slopes, decimated by the wind, forlorn. This is what we're dealing with. Oil on troubled waters, an odd summer dress underneath a sweater and overalls. Here's a short one. I suppose I had got used to you being here, the sound of my own heart, the sound of a bush slapping against a window the whole time, all through the night, all through the day. You're crying, says my dead man. I must say here that the man is not actually dead, it's only that he appears to be here. You're crying, says my dead man, concerned and reassuring all at once, sounding like someone coming home to an unexpected table, lit candles and food full of promise. I try to smile. Am I ask him in a voice that seems cleansed of all humanity, or the opposite, a voice that is all too human, as though too much person is pressed into the sound. My attempt at a smile makes my face look atrocious. It's evening. I haven't talked to anyone since I talked to my mother. I don't know what to say to my sisters. I'm not sure we have the same mother. I'm not sure we're a family anymore. When did it get to this? I think to myself. But maybe it was like this always. That we are neither one body nor one family, or maybe a family is not the same as a family. It's a construct. It's like that because we can't endure anything else. We excuse ourselves saying some plants resembles others, that some animals do. We're a bunch held together by string, things becoming arbitrary when you least expect it. The stalks winter and the string becomes loose. When it rustles, thought rustle, a home, the family falters, a home revealing itself to be something other than a home, rustling, a place that is always a different place, a different light here, and then the clutter of homelessness, the body threatening to abandon thought that remains then one's good intentions. And there you stand. An idea of a home, ideas in general, what use? There are those who come over with us, and there are those who do not. It can be as simple as that too. No bus to pick you up, no bridge built yet, only later on. A fortuitous delay, or a delay hardly fortuitous at all. The fatality of a certain hesitation, that is thought's expulsion from the body or the blood, the fact that one might never arrive. Those who came over and those who did not. Beneath the winter lies a wandering across the field, a walk through tall grass, sandals, bare legs, dry sea meadow grass sweeping on one side and another, grass that breaks and flattens like a tongue fallen out behind me, a heel that becomes visible as I lifted, and which again is a picture trampled underfoot. An island of yellow cutweed, and then grass again, and soft-sown fur, hardly more than twigs almost stitching out of the ground. That's what they look like. In which case, this was before. I'm 10 years old, and we've just taken lease of the land from the state. It's August, and I don't know if the willow herb can flower at this time of year, but I remember the willow herb in bloom, like a whole wall of troubled purple, strangling with brambles. It's that way around, the flowers strangling the brambles. Difficult word, huh? And then in another picture, the brambles alone, blue fingers and red plastic balls. It's as though the purple of the willow herb is the same color as the fingers, as though the juice of the brambles reveals itself to be flowers, as though the flowers have been pressed together into hard petals, these berries which are now ripe and sweet and which, well, reveal themselves. 8 kilos and just as much sugar and many more jars and the steam running down the windows. One sees a foot being lifted, then another placed in front of one leg, then the other, and then again the grass bending and falling back in front of us, hiding the bare legs, which then appear again. Walking across the field today, the snow creaking, waking there in the summer, yours being the eyes that see the soles of my feet, the landscape actually being you, you lying in a bed in Copenhagen, it being evening, you lifting her hand from your chest once she has fallen asleep, or just the thought of it, or just the thought of her walking through the same grass, or turning around to see that no one has been there. I turn and look back. Between the woods and me, the snow disclosing my path, disclosing something else. I don't know quite what. You perhaps. It could be you. Then the last little text here. I've never wanted anything before. She understands that now. It's not a competition, you say, meaning I can't stand to lose anymore. Thank you very much.